It's another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Rubbing Minds. Welcome. My name is Ebuka Obiuchendu. As we do every week, we're going to start off with the week that was, and I have a special guest in the house with me to talk about the week that was in Nigeria. Bankole Eniola, Chief Operating Officer, Nigeria Dialogue. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to get onto what you do much later, but I want us to start with some of the things that hit us over the week, starting with Boko Haram. Now, we all know that the state of emergency was declared a couple of months ago, and things did seem to be getting back to normal for a couple of weeks. But in the last two or 3 weeks, news keeps coming out that attacks have been happening. And 2 days ago, we heard 35 or 44, we are not sure now, casualties again have been, people have been killed in a place called Demba in Borno State. What does this say about the entire arrangement that the federal government has with the state of emergency?
For starters, Nigeria is the only place where we negotiate with terrorists. In every other part of the world, nobody negotiates with terrorists because terrorists are people who are frustrated and they're going to make life difficult for anybody who cares to listen to them. What should happen to Boko Haram is that they should face the full wrath of the law. And I think the problem of Boko Haram, I've always said that is a political issue, but more importantly, I think we need the political will that can help us deal with the problem. And I think at the moment, the present-day government is not showing enough political will, as in the strength to actually deal with terrorists the way they should be dealt with.
So where do you find that sort of political will if force has not was supposed to be the last resort?
No. What we are applying at the moment is not force. What we are applying at the moment is something similar to the carrot and the rabbit. In a situation where you are negotiating with them on one hand, you are trying to use military force with them on the other hand. When you say force, like go from any of the developed economies around the world, you will realize that there is no negotiation. If we catch a terrorist, we will try him. We will show him as an example to society and make sure no other person would want to do what he's doing. On the contrary, we are not doing that at the moment. We are actually negotiating with them in secret and trying to pay them off or find some sort of a deal to do with them. I think that approach is wrong. But going forward, I think the government should, if we have a commander-in-chief in Nigeria, as we speak, I would expect that the commander-in-chief should live to his billing as the commander-in-chief of armed forces and do what the president should do in addressing an issue like this.
It's a very interesting point you bring up there about, trying to negotiate and trying to use force, because in the last week as well, we had two very interesting news come out of the northeastern part of Nigeria. First of all, we heard that the leader of Boko Haram, Abu Shekau, allegedly has been killed. Nobody knows where the body is. Apparently he must have been harmed in an attack and died somewhere, and nobody seems to know whether it's confirmed or not. At the same time, we also heard someone give us information that Boko Haram now says they are open to negotiation and they are willing to negotiate with government. Where does all of this lead us now? Because it's been 3 years since the 2010 bombing, which was what heralded all of this, and nothing seems to be making a headway.
I think security is a critical issue. And going into the next elections, I think it should be one of the major topics that we discuss. And I'm not just talking about security in terms of the kind of menace Boko Haram has become to us. I'm talking about policing. I'm talking about a society in which our law actually means something, that there is nobody who is above the law. Because I think what we have in Nigeria at the moment, where some people are kind of superior to the law, is the reason why we could have people, just take the kind of look they take towards our justice system. But going forward, in trying to address this Abu Shekau's issue, it's an allegation. Until we find a body, we don't even know whether Abu Shekau exists as an individual. So until we find the body, we can't really make a conclusive discussion about it. But I think the government should have should show Nigerians that they have a way by which they can deal with this. And I mean a convincing way that we know that will resolve this issue once and for all.
Well, I hope Mr. President is listening. Scary times in Nigeria seem to be coming back, not that they particularly left at any time. Moving on to also some other scary news. It's day 55 of the ASU strike. Some of us have been keeping tabs on them, and we don't know what is happening. What is going on? Are we going to ever get out of this strike?
As long as we treat education the way we treat it today, we will not get out of our strike issue. We would always have this strike. And it's unfortunate in a country with almost 160 million people, a country that considers itself to be great, a country that wants to be at the cusp of developed economies. I know that the president and some other people in government, they are pushing for Nigeria to be in the top 20. You don't become a top 20 nation by not investing in your education. The kids of today, the kids we're raising in Nigeria today, cannot compete with the kids growing up in Asia or growing up in other developing areas of the world like South America. So it's important for us to begin to put our money in our future. And by investing in education, I think we'll be guaranteeing a future for our kids. The issue of ASU is a very disheartening issue because the government cannot tell us that we don't have enough funds to fund our education. And if we get to a point in this country where we don't have enough funds to fund our education, where is the place of private partnership? Where is the place of setting up research institutions? Why can't we have a hub for organizations like IBM, like Microsoft, like Google? Let's get into partnership with them. Let us create that enabling environment where they can come and invest in our educational system, set up their research institutes, and then give young Nigerians the opportunity to go into those research institutes and study. So I think, going back, I think the fundamental issue we have in this country is either you call it vision, in the sense that the people who govern us don't have a clear idea of how to take us to where we should go, or secondly, they do not have enough time to govern.
Finally, now, thank you very much. You've talked a lot about the future. Just quickly tell us what